4 players. We are there within the 3 players. This inverter is not the one which is operating when the power is not there, so that's a wrong terminology, unfortunately. It also requires power. It is except that the AC current is converted into DC current, and then that DC current is able to drive the compressors in a variable speed, thereby able to operate at higher efficiency. And it offers something like a 5-star inverter split will offer 65% of power saving compared with 1-star fixed speed AC. I had mentioned last year that compared with the air conditioner we bought in the year 2000, it is 90% to 95% in fact power reduction. So in 2000 year, if somebody bought an air conditioner, if you buy a 5-star air conditioner today, it will consume only 5 to 7.5% kind of electricity compared with what it was consuming. So much of reduction had been possible through technology. So this is something which we may not easily react to, especially in summertime. We want the cooling to be very high, so we are somewhat indifferent and able to set the temperature in steps of 0.5. So this is the first time in India we are doing that. And there are 135 models which are being launched, and out of which, as I had mentioned, our focus is inverter. You can see 40 are inverter high wall splits and 3 are inverter cassette AC. So 43 SKUs are inverter rated, and if you see include the 5-star, it will go up to 62 numbers out of 100. Almost 50% of our SKUs fall in the higher energy efficiency one. So why 40 inverter split ACs? Again, we want to have the price points from in affordability point of view, that from a lowest affordable to higher affordable, every price point there is a product. That by 2018 December or 2019 summer, you will see most of the ACs moving to Wi-Fi enabled. But our experience so far has been pretty bad, and I believe that is the same feedback we get in China as well as Japan. So the migration is not so much with the smart value, unfortunately. So, but then the consumer is the king. He has to make up his mind. But we are trying to have the plan. We have to wait and watch. Consumers are not immediately jumping into that, even young generation. While we find AC buyers used to be there. When I started my career some 25 years ago, it was 50 years plus will make a decision. That slowly came down to male, and male 35 plus were the decision makers. Now it is male and female, even 25 onwards are making decision. So while the young generation, male-female decision makers are growing, the smart AC, Wi-Fi, it is not growing. We have to wait and watch. I suppose it is to do with connectivity, or it is not a big deal. I can always switch on, switch off. But from the service point of view, for troubleshooting point of view, Wi-Fi connectivity or digital systems helps us a lot. We will wait and watch. So that is another correction from my last year thing. At this juncture, I would also like to tell whether I had mentioned that it is probable that 30% of the ACs bought by 2019 year will be through e-commerce channels. And I think that is also somewhat going slow, but we still feel that e-commerce channel will be one of the significant channels. That is, specifically during the festival seasons, we saw again a spike in going ahead with the electronic channel buying, okay, whether it is on our company website or marketplaces like Amazon or Flipkart. And the I-Feel feature, it is being extended to many more models, and 7 advanced filters and cold plasma filter. And our plan to later on, we have mentioned in the press release as well about the air purifier. We have launched 4 models and we are doing well, but unfortunately the market is still lower. But our pursuit is that how we can integrate the air purifier with the air conditioner. It is not necessary 2 separate gadgets should be there. I hope in a couple of years we are able to crack that problem so that nobody need to buy one air purifier apart from an air conditioner. And the Kigali was the last thing before the Paris Agreement, and there is time period that is available for while the ozone depleting substances, we are ahead of the curve in the sense there is time, but we will go ahead and migrate to non-ozone depleting potential under Montreal Protocol much ahead of the deadline of 2019, if I'm right. Yeah, and here the other part of it, time is there for even the phase down to commence only beyond 2025. It has to commence the global warming potential substances. Here again we will be ahead of the curve, so there are no challenges with regard to the eco-friendly refrigerant usage from ozone protection or low global warming criteria. And so you can see out of 135, 4 plus 33 plus 39 plus 3 are eco-friendly models. So 135 models, I mentioned we are a strong player in commercial, split AC, so total of 12 models, and you can have a look at them. Air purifiers, so 5 models of air purifiers were launched, and the market size is less than 180 crores today. And while lot of noise is being made, unfortunately it is not a product which is taking off in a big way, but it is air conditioner and air purifier. We entered the air coolers market. It is not relevant for southern India, so we have 9 models introduced now after the test marketing which commenced last year. So we will be selling in 500 towns, 4,000 outlets, apart from e-commerce channels. So 800 sales and service dealers, 400 the service franchises known as expert service associates, and 24/7 call center and mobile service vans. And the gold standard refers to our program where we want to be the industry benchmark in service. Unique things, actually this is something which we will even try to patent. Our rich experience in service has helped us to come out with something which is very much between me and Mr. Mukundan Menon. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer. So because of the GST, there is no indirect taxes related announcements will be there at all. Okay, so there is nothing called excise duty, nothing called service tax related announcements at all. It will be, the AC air conditioning is falling at 28%. That is clear now. 28%. 28% slab. So we have made a representation that 5-star and inverter air conditioners, which is constituting only 30% of the total market, it is beneficial for the government in keeping in mind power generation cost or the carbon footprint obligations, so that will come under Paris Agreement, and the distribution cost, migrate as many consumers as possible to 5-star and inverter. Like Japan has migrated all the 100% to inverter. China is more than 50% is moving towards inverter. They all had an incentive scheme. So we are saying 28% you charge no problem, but 5-star and inverter, go ahead and for a 2-year period, 3-year period, make it only 5%. Then people will buy, volumes will grow, we can bring down the cost. That again is not the union budget issue at all. Union budget will deal with direct tax. For example, income tax could be one, and the other benefits that will go in the corporate taxation. The expectation is that whether with Donald Trump's government saying we will bring down to 15%, Indian government still saying 25% we will do over a period of time, that we expect something will be done. If corporate taxation comes down, if the direct tax of income tax what you and I pay and the agricultural related investments or the subsidies or the programs growing, rural development programs growing, whether more money will be in the hands of the consumer is the expectation number 2. So first is the expectation that the taxation will be brought down. Second is more money in the hands of. 3 is if this budget is an opportunity to bring back, I am growing now, corporate sentiment is. So before you came in I mentioned that we are not, we are subjected to this news channels, newspapers every morning giving us some kind of shocks actually. That is, we are used to this, when you wake up something happens. With regard to, generally I am of the opinion 90% of the time in the past 6 months we have woken up to some bad news, shocking news rather than great news. The corporates are more worried about investment than the individuals. We have got used to, we are carrying on with our life, we still have a positive attitude. But I doubt whether corporates behave that way. An investor who wants to invest is worried about what will happen to UP elections. Investors are worried about what will happen to terrorist attack, what is happening to demonetization, what is happening to US. He looks at some 40 things before deciding I will go ahead and invest. But you and I are dependent on how the overall economic growth is. For that, important element is some kind of certainty, some kind of positive sentiment. That is very important. I expect union budget to provide that. What is point of a time, it is to do with our professional electronics business as well as large central air conditioning business. Room air conditioner business, we are not. It is not going to make any kind of a difference at all. It is, this business is purely dependent on A, disposable income in the hands of common public. Number 2, the severe summer conditions that are prevailing. These are the 2. Next thing that is happening is, in the Indian context, people buying this for their parents. As the young generation is growing, it is for their parents or for their children. So the obvious thing they look after the parents is to provide them with the air conditioner. So if you stand in a showroom and watch, actually the youngsters buying specifically is also for their parents or for their children. So they don't even air condition their bedroom, the children's room has to be air conditioned first like that. So therefore there is an inherent demand that is already available, but otherwise it is purely disposable income. And look at the summer conditions. These 2 are the triggers, nothing else. I'm not criticizing anyone. The question is that, as I told you, I tell this in the CNBC television often, almost every month. We are conditioned to wake up to some bad. Whenever you switch on the television or get an alert, it will be some news of pessimistic nature. Now, I am not. I keep thinking that what is the good news? Some Salman acquitted is not a good news for me. The question is that is fine. It doesn't affect any one of us. I think with the Twitter, with the Facebook, with the news channels, televisions, before an event is going to take place, how disastrous it is going to be is already announced. We are conditioned. So therefore, when it was said, actually that night, I have the recordings. That night, everybody said it's a great move, and black money will this one, how so much this one. Next day they said so much of money is coming into the market, the banks. Therefore, how the interest rates are going to fall dramatically. That was the second prediction. So within 3-4 days, they saw the queue. Indeed, it was unexpected and unprecedented, the sufferings that people went through. Then they said that it has, when the political parties started making noise, they said it is going to be disaster, and then various economists said that it is going to be 5% drop, 2.5% drop in GDP, and many people started predicting something. But the fact of the matter, if you go back to those articles, is no prediction whatsoever has come true at all. Everything went wrong, and it is first time event as it unfolded. We felt at that point of a time there is going to be some problem in terms of it. The ACs are not by black money. The ACs are bought by cash as well, like 30% in big cities. In smaller cities, it may be even 50% plus 60%. Like you go to Rajahmundry, 60% of the ACs will be bought by cash. When a consumer walks into a showroom, he cannot have a credit card limit of 35,000 rupees, right? It is not one swipe you can get it. Second is that his check nobody is going to accept. That dealer will say whether check will bounce, you better. Cash is a guaranteed money. So cash was true, but it was not a black money holder. That is correct. Now we felt that this is there. How this is going to ease out. Our expectation has been that in a couple of months all this will be sorted out. That is, people will get into, the dealers themselves said that you are giving a check, I am going to call the bank and say block this money, I will send somebody to collect it. And then we saw immediately consumer finance related purchases touching. It used to be only some 10% 3 years ago. It has touched 30% now, 0% finance. The next part of it is, in December, we grew. We grew by 35% plus in November. In December again we grew. It is at the backdrop of a huge festival season. Now, we were monitoring whether the secondary sales is affected or something like that, but it is not. The New Year Pongal sales, even till day for yesterday, it is better than last year. At least 15% growth compared with what it was in the counters, I am saying.